Hey everybody, welcome to Backyard Blue. Just two brothers talking sports and whatever else comes our way. I am brother number one by birth order. Anyway, that's me, Blake Miller. My students call me Mr. Miller. Mama calls me Moose. We still haven't figured out why. Brother number two is on the other side of the screen. That is my brother from the same mother, Hunter Borland, the Hunt Daddy, the head hunter. My daughter calls him Hump. Hump, how you doing?
What it do? What it do? I'm
Good
ready.
to see you, even though we recorded like 10 minutes ago.
We had mini rants off not recording.
Oh man, it was good times.
Fun stuff.
Off air conversation is always good, but on air conversation can be good too, especially if it's about the NFC North. I guess maybe.
I feel like this is the most obvious division in football.
I tend to agree. I think we're going to be probably in lockstep on a lot of these. But nonetheless, we're going to continue our NFL season preview using team win totals gathered from Fanduel Sportsbook. We'll give you our over-under picks on the teams in this division and tell you what our confidence is in each of those picks. And then we'll tell you which division winner bets we like, if there happen to be any, which I think there is probably going to be at least one bet I like in this division. This division, if you didn't know, includes the Detroit Lions, Chicago Bears, Minnesota Vikings, and Green Bay Packers. I look forward to getting into this. Any overall thoughts about the division before we dive into the first team, the Detroit Lions?
This division feels like, and maybe it's just bias for me with the NFC East, it feels like those four teams are so synonymous with the NFL. I feel like this division is the same way. Packers, Bears, Lions, like even though the Lions have sucked, like they're still that team that you feel like is just NFL, so
an OG.
And then both divisions aren't very entertaining, I guess is the right word. Like there's for this division separately, because there's been a team that's been the best for 20 plus years. And then for the East, it's because every team has sucked for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
So as the Giants, they won 2 Super Bowls.
Who used to be when this division? It used to be the Central, and I think the Bucks were in the division with them, and Chris Berman used to call it the NFC Norris because I think there was an NHL division called the NFC Norris. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but that's what he called them, the NFC Norris. I guess a team in the NHL was the Norris, or a division was the Norris. But I got to check my hockey knowledge. We don't talk hockey here for that reason because I don't know, and you don't know anything about it.
I know. 0.
I know kind of like I could maybe explain.
I know Sidney Crosby and Alex Ovechkin.
Yeah.
That's about it.
All right. Let's talk football. On that note, let's get into the Detroit Lions. I'll leave.
We'll have some hockey bets for you in a couple months.
Nope. I mean, no.
They have the same season as basketball. And there was no way for me and you growing up in Memphis, Tennessee, that we were going to have any knowledge of the NHL or hockey in general.
We can't even keep ice in our freezer. Like it's too hot down here to have any ice. Ice hockey season starts on December 21st and ends on December 27th.
Now, I'm up here with some hocky fans now with the Blues.
Sure.
Like, St. Louis is a hockey town, but
it gets cold up there. It don't get cold right here. Like
that's true.
It is stanky and
when you say that,
you
got that foot of snow this past year.
That's true. I almost said no, it was 10 feet of snow. I was like, no, it was 10 inches, dummy. Come on. It's okay.
Oh man. So then
let's go ahead and get into it. The Detroit Lions are our first team. They're the team with the lowest projected win total. No surprise there. Their projected win total is 5, and the under is favored with them. They're plus 1,900 to win the division, so 19-1 odds if you like the Detroit Lions to be the champions of the NFC North. I do not, and I don't think many do. I'm conflicted by this one, at least the over-under, not the division total. Not conflicted at all about that. The over-under 5, the under's favored, like I said. I'm conflicted by this one because it's so low. It's just kind of the same thing I said with the Texans. And like, it's hard to predict who the worst teams are going to be. And I think even the worst teams in the 17-game season might win 5 games. Like, you're going to have somebody that wins 2 or 3, maybe somebody wins 4 or 5. I just don't know where the Detroit Lions fall. I could easily see them going 6-11. Like I think they're going to be bad, but 6-11 could happen, and they're still bad, and they might be good enough to squeak out some games. Their offensive line is good. The defense is atrocious. It's not. There are pieces of the defense you would like on other teams. Like I don't know that their defense is worse than the Browns' defense we talked about in the last episode. It probably is, but it's not as bad as people think. It's not like the worst in football, but it's not good either. Nothing's good about this team. DeAndre Swift's exciting. I want to see Quintez Cephas jump over somebody. That's about it. They got a couple good offensive linemen, but nobody pays to watch offensive linemen. Sorry, guys. It's so low. 5 is so low. So it's
the
tempting
big
to
hog
buy in.
Is that what they call offensive linemen?
Yeah, right. It's a making of a good offensive line, but no other positional group stands out to me as being even solid. Goff is blah, blah, blah. I have to go under here, but I won't bet it. It's too low for any confidence. What's your take on the Lions?
So stop me. I'm going to read their schedule. Stop me when you think there is a guaranteed win on this schedule. Are you ready?
There will not be one. Go ahead.
49ers.
Nope.
Packers.
Nope.
Ravens. Bears. Vikings. Bengals.
No.
Rams.
No.
Eagles. Steelers. Browns. Bears. Vikings. Broncos. Cardinals. Falcons. Seahawks. Packers.
I found 4 maybes in there, and they'll probably get one. They'll probably get like the Vikings or the Bears at some point. I feel like the Packers always like have a tough game with them, even though they end up. I mean, I don't know. The NFL's tough. Like most of the games are between 3 and 7 points. I still feel like
I just think this team is in a full rebuild. I think Jared Goff is very average or below average, very below average. I think. I like Dan Campbell. I like the meathead. I'm going to chew some kneecaps, and every time we get knocked down, we're going to get right back up, and we're going to hit you hard, and we're going to get CTE, boys. Let's go out there and hit some people. Like, I actually like him, though. Like, even though I just completely made fun of him. I like the guy. He seems like he's just the football guy. He's your typical. So I want them to be good. I want Detroit to be good, but they're going to be really bad. And again, because their schedule is so tough, this team has to play the NFC West, and the NFC West is by far the best division in the NFC. We'll talk about this next time. I don't know who to pick for their division to win. Like, all of those teams could go between 8 and 11 wins, 9 and 12 wins, something like that. I just don't see, like you said, there was 4 maybes in that schedule. And if you can get 3 of those, you're still winning 3 games, and maybe you still won from somebody else, but I don't see where you get 5 wins. They're not good. They're not good.
I think the likelihood is like 3 and 14, 4 and 13, but
I am all over this one. This is like one of my favorite bets. It's already bet on Fanduel. Like, we're rolling with it. This team is going to be bad.
It's so hard to bet 5 though, like under 5 for an NFL team. I don't care if it's the worst NFL team. It's like, I mean, you just don't know. Like,
they could play 25 games. I don't think they're going to win 5 games. Like, they're bad,
dude. The Lions are my principal's favorite team. So I always ask him, "Well, how's your football season going?" He goes, "Shut up."
And I think you're gonna know how good Matt Stafford was when the Rams are awesome this year. Yeah. That dude is a phenomenal quarterback, and he's been stuck in Detroit. Yeah. Calvin Johnson, Barry Sanders, Matt Stafford, all of them dudes ain't walking through that door. This team is hot garbage. They're going to be with the Texans winning 3 or 4 games tops.
Hey, look, that's the next question I was going to ask you. Who's better, the Lions or the Texans?
I don't know. I think both of them are going to tank. Like, both of them want to get the number 1 pick. Like, I think, like, when we talked about it with the Texans, tanking's real in the NFL now. Like, there's going to be, even though to the players, there's no such thing as tanking, they're not putting players on the field that are good enough to win. It's just not – they're not good.
I think this team's better than the Texans. I think the
they could
Texans
be,
is a more obvious tank. I think the Texans are the worst team in football.
Do you like diarrhea or soft turds better? I mean, which one?
I like to mush.
I mean, come on.
We've reached the fun with feces part of the episode, guys.
But I think we can move
That
on
was
from
the
the
Detroit
Lions.
Lions.
They are feces.
Under on the Detroit Fecal Lions.
Under.
All right. Let's talk about the Chicago Bears. Justin Fields / Andy Dalton, Chicago Bears. 7.5 is the win total projected on FanDuel, with the under being favored. Plus 100 on the over. If you feel good about the over, it is at even odds, which is kind of nice. And they're plus 500 to win the division. I bet you have some people taking that. I don't think I'll be one of them. What are your thoughts on the Chicago Bears? The Bears.
So I got the over. I think their defense is still good enough to carry them in games, but their over really depends on when they bench Dalton, go to Justin Fields. Their offensive line isn't very good. Justin Fields can move out of the pocket. I think he's going to be really good. I think this is their best quarterback they've had. I mean, Jay Cutler was good for them. I know people trash Jay Cutler, but he was really good. But I think they actually have a legit quarterback. But if they're going to roll with Dalton, I saw or read, I forget, but Andy Dalton's their third best quarterback in the quarterback room. Like, I think Nick Foles is just as good as him. And I think Justin Fields may not be like, he could lose some games and cause some turnovers. But I just like the faster they get the Fields, the more comfortable I feel about the over. I'm not going to bet it, but if they started Fields in week 1, I would feel really confident about the over.
Yeah. If I'm looking at it just from I think Andy Dalton is an upgrade over Maserati Mitch.
I don't think so.
Oh, I do. I think Trubisky is that bad. I thought he was.
I watched Dalton with the Cowboys. He had weapons all over the field. And I know the Cowboys had other problems, but he couldn't get him the ball.
Well, that's what I was going to say about the Cowboys last year. I think you can throw that year out the window. A weird year, just in general. But his offensive line was unhealthy all year long. He's playing behind. I mean, what really was one of the worst offensive lines in football.
Absolutely.
And they were getting their brains beaten all the time. He was having to throw all the time because they're always behind. So I don't know that this team is going to be that way. I think this is going to be more like the Cincinnati teams he played for when he was pretty good. I'm not expecting him to be good, but I think you can win with Andy Dalton. Like when you put in Ben DiNucci or Garrett Gilbert, you're losing. You might get lucky and win one. Who did the freaking Jags start last year? It's like Jake Luton, something like that. Like there's some dudes you see their name next to it. You're like, oh, that's your quarterback. Well, you're losing. I don't feel that way with Andy Dalton. Like I think
I don't feel like you're losing. I just don't feel like he gives you the best chance to win.
Is he a bona fide starter? No. Is he a bona fide backup? Probably not. He's starter-ish. He's backup-ish, but he's starter-ish too. He's probably on that bottom 7 to 8 quarterbacks. But if the surrounding cast is good enough, you can be good enough. He's not Alex
When
Smith.
your nickname's the Red Rocket, I just can't get down with it.
Isn't that what they call Chihuahuas wieners too?
Yeah, that's a dog's penis.
We've gone from feces to dog penises. The bottom of the NFC North is not a pretty place.
They got a dog penis playing quarterback, a dog boner.
What are we gonna come up with for the Vikings and Packers? It's gonna get worse.
They have a dog boner throwing the ball.
All right, but I do think
just because they have a dog boner throwing the ball, I'm going on the under. I'm changing my pick under 7.5. Get them some Blue Chew if they want to go on the over.
I'm glad we got this one recording. Is the title of this episode Feces and Dog Boners?
I feel like we just got to move on.
Let's go. All right, hold on. I'm just going to, if I could read my notes.
Dog boners are going under.
Okay, so you know how hard it is to make a case for the over after you call them the dog boners? Dog boners. What is wrong with us?
The Chicago dog boners.
Dog boners. All right. Okay.
Breathe.
So, they were 8-8 last year with Maserati Mitch at quarterback. Not a lot of changes. 7 and 10 or worse is the favorite. I don't get it. I don't get that part. I feel confident that one of Dalton or Fields can at least be decent enough to get to 8 wins, especially when you get 2 cake games against the Lions, and you're probably going to split or better with the Vikings. I would hope. So I feel like they can get to 8 wins. The defense is pretty solid everywhere but cornerback. Their cornerbacks are brutal, but they can cover with linebackers okay. I mean, Trevathan and Smith have been shown to cover and create pressure and help in the run game. They're both really good linebackers. I mean, the defense is solid. They can create pressure with Mack, with Quinn, with Hicks. They're really, I mean, that's going to be a strength. The defense is a plus for sure. The safeties
Always
are nice.
is.
Love Eddie Jackson, love Tayshaun Gibson. They're really good. The offensive line, I'll look at it, is good enough. Like, it's fine. I actually like the offense. I think Matt Nagy is an underrated coach. I think a lot of people give him crap. There's probably some Chiefs bias there, but there was a season where I think it was Alex Smith's last season in Kansas City.
He's getting fired this year.
He might. I mean, still, but I still think he'll find his way as an offensive coordinator. But Alex Smith's last season in Kansas City was Alex Smith's best season as a professional quarterback. And the offense have kind of gotten in a rut in the middle of the season, and Andy Reid decided to, for a very rare case, turn play calling duties over to Matt Nagy, and they went on a roll, and that roll didn't end into the playoffs. They really got rolling. And I was a believer in Nagy, and I'm sad to see him go. I still believe in him. I haven't sold my Nagy stock, partially because nobody's buying it, but also I still think there's good in him. The wide receiver core is good. I like Montgomery a lot, and I think Damian Williams is going to be a nice fit there. I see a 500-ish team, like 8-9 or 9-8. 7-10's in play, but so is 10-7. Like, if you made me pick, are they more likely to go 7-10 or 10-7? I'd say I think they're more likely to go 10-7. So give me the over on the dog.
I do like the over. I mean, the fact that we're calling them the dog boners makes me want to go under, but where they were good last year is when Mitch got out of the pocket, when he moved around and they got him in motion. And that was his thing. Like, if he was running the ball, and I think you're going from the best you played was when you had Mitch who could run the ball a little bit to Andy Dalton who can't move at all. So that's the reason I think if Justin Fields is starting, I feel really confident. But other than that, like, I don't feel confident in them winning a division. You know, if they're starting Andy Dalton for 17 games, I'm going under. If you're telling me Justin Fields is in by week 4, I think the over's in play.
No, I'm a big fan of Justin Fields. I would love to see him get in there and I was going to say and rock it, but we've already been down that road. I'm a big Justin Fields fan, and I think if he really flourishes, like, I guess it is being my second favorite team. I hated that Anthony Miller's not there anymore.
And he got hurt. I love Anthony Miller.
The Isle of Houston, Texas.
Yeah.
So we're both in the over. This should be fun. All right. I got a long rant about the Minnesota Vikings. You ready?
Here's the floor.
All right. So I'll first start off telling you 8.5 is their number. The over is actually favored heavily at -165. It's one of the heavier. It's one of the heavier favorites that I've seen in terms of an over under. Most of them are like -120, -135. It's -165 to take the over. And that's crazy to me. They're +250 to win the division. And what are people seeing in the Minnesota Vikings? I've written them off before, but they always seem to find their way to be in the hunt. I just can't help but think that this is a year that it's not there for them. Kirk Cousins is the ultimate blah. If he were an ice cream flavor, he would be cardboard. You like that? No.
You like that?
I don't like that. I don't like you, Kirk Cousins. You suck. You are the most generic, blah, cardboard ass quarterback in the NFL. You suck. Accurate. His strengths shown with Shanahan and Stefanski was running an offense that allowed him to run play action successfully. This offensive line, it is got more holes than Swiss cheese. It is porous like a sponge. It is not going to allow him to do that like he usually does. There'll be plenty of pressure on him all day, and he can't run. He's going to be a statue back there. He is going to get beaten to death behind there. He is going to have an awful season. And this, just the football side, doesn't take into account the COVID issues they're having in their house regarding vaccines. It just seems like a messy and dramatic situation. Did you guys hear like something to do with Mike Zimmer told reporters that he could go in the parking lot and see the unvaccinated players. Like, there's real stuff going
Well,
on in that locker room.
Mike Zimmer is ready to leave. I feel like this is his last year as a Vikings coach.
If their under was 7.5, I wouldn't take it. And here's the other thing. I'm going against Vegas here, I guess. But why aren't they moving the line if the juice is this high? If it's all the way up to minus 165 on an over for this team, like, why aren't they moving it? Why aren't they moving it up to 9 to get a little better odds? Because you're not enticing a lot of people to take that juice at minus 165. 9 baits too many unders. If you move up to 9, you're going to bait some 8 and 9. You're going to bait some unders there, taking them 8 where 9's a push. And I think if they know they go to 9, they're going to have a lot of people taking the under. They don't want to do that because they know that's what's probably going to happen. So to me, like, Vegas is saying they think it's going to be the under. They're taking all this juice on the over. Okay. Hey, so do I. Under we go. I'm going to root like crazy for this under. I hate Kirk Cousins. I like Jefferson and Thielen and Dalvin Cook, but the rest of them, I don't like you. And Harrison Smith, he should not be the highest paid safety in the NFL. Extend Tyrann Mathieu. Hashtag that.
Yeah, he's gone.
I see them as a team like similar.
We'll talk about that next episode.
To the Bears at worst. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm with you. Kirk Cousins to me feels like the quarterback who at the end of the year, you're like, man, he had some really good stats. Like, he's a top 10 quarterback, top 12 quarterback. And like last year, and he missed the playoffs. Like, I think he threw 30-something touchdowns, less than 10 interceptions, or maybe just 10 or 11. I forget the exact number. But he just feels like a guy. Like, just he's out there. He's not going to be terrible. He's not going to be great. He's just there. He'll have a game where he looks really good, and then he'll have a game where they can't throw the ball, and they got to rely on Dalvin Cook to run for 180 yards and 3 touchdowns, which he's more than capable to do. I love Dalvin Cook. He was on my fantasy football team his rookie year before he got hurt, and probably would have won it that year if he didn't get hurt, but different story. Yeah, I'm on the under. There's not much more to add to you. Their COVID stuff, I expect Cousins to miss at least a game or two due to COVID because their entire team – not their entire team, but like it sounds like they're one of the lowest vaccinated rated teams. And that's a real thing this year. Like, yeah. COVID is gonna cost teams games this year because and I'm nervous with it with the Cowboys with Dak, and because there's thoughts that they're not vaccinated, whatever. But I love Thielen. Like, that dude seems awesome. I've seen him do some interviews. He seems really cool. I think Justin Jefferson is an absolute unbelievable wide receiver, but until they get rid of all Kirk Cousins, I think they're going to be 7-8 wins. You know, they'll be right there. They'll be competing, and they'll fall flat. They'll miss the playoffs.
They're in the purgatory, the middle. Like they're
it's where the Cowboys have been. It's the most frustrating thing as an NFL fan.
Yep. You're not a real contender, but you're not bad.
You're a couple players away from being really good, but you're one injury away from picking in the top 10.
Yep, it's accurate with them. You mentioned the COVID stuff with them, and I know they said it in camp was like Zimmer was outwardly, he was very outspoken, angry with Cousins. He's like, when you mess up, like when you're out from training camp, you're not just hurting yourself and getting reps. You're keeping your offense from getting reps. You're keeping your team defense from freshening up against a starting quarterback. They're having to face the 4th stringer that you just picked up off the street because you weren't there. I used to be a Kirk Cousins fan. When he was in Washington, I did like that. Now, nah. Take your cardboard ass on.
I watched Washington. They had a hell of a team around him, and I think if RG3 didn't get hurt, that team could have won a Super Bowl. I think Kirk Cousins was in a great position with Washington at that point. And the team around him and Kyle Shanahan, but their team around him was so good that it made him look good.
Yeah, I agree.
And he believed he was something he isn't.
I had him on fantasy teams for a long time. I mean, he was the guy that I went to because his weapons are always good. And
I never feared playing Washington, even though they had a hell of a team. And it's because he was playing quarterback.
Let's move on. I'm sick of talking about the NFC North. Let's talk about the Green Bay Packers.
You ready?
I don't have a nickname for them. Like we got the fecal matter, the dog boners, the cardboards, the champs. What you thought?
If you ready? You ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Over. This is the easiest bet of this division. Over 10.5. If Aaron Rodgers is healthy, they've been in the NFC Championship game the past 2 years. They're Super Bowl contenders. They're a top 2 NFL or NFC team. Devontae Adams is great. Aaron Rodgers, great. Aaron Jones, great. AJ Dillon, gonna be great. Like they brought back Cobb, who has had a couple down years, but when he was with Dallas, he was still good. And he and Rodgers have a connection. Like I do think there's something to a wide receiver quarterback connection. They have it. They're like legit friends. Like they go to the Kentucky Derby together, all kinds of stuff. The Packers are Buckatari or whatever being out for the first 6 weeks. Yeah, he's out. He's on the PUP. He's out for at least the first 6 weeks. That hurts, but it doesn't matter. Like the same thing we're going to talk about with the Chiefs in a couple episodes. The same things we talk about with like Russell Wilson, Josh Allen, like these guys. Like it doesn't matter. This dude is generational. If he's playing, he's healthy. Even when he's not healthy, he played with a torn meniscus or whatever a couple years ago and still won like 10 or 11 games, went to the NFC Championship. Like, toward first game of the year, he couldn't move and took that team to the NFC Championship game. Like, if he's starting, if he's in the lineup, they're one of the best teams in the NFL. He's that good. So, yeah, give me over 10.5. That one's already been punched in on FanDuel. It's been bet. I feel so confident about that. I just feel, and Aaron Rodgers MVP, like he'll probably win it again just because he hates the Packers and wants to win MVP again.
Man, there's this feeling. In my thoughts on them, I try not to go down this path, but my thoughts on them are fully like on the narrative here, and like the behind the scenes stuff, not necessarily the on the field material that I see. He showed up wearing a sweet T-shirt. Did you see it?
Dunder Mifflin.
Yeah, it's Dunder Mifflin. So the Office NBA Jam share has Kevin Malone on one side and his bowl of chili. If you watch the show, you'd understand. But it's great. Ultimate like old cool guy swag. And I bought the shirt after that. I was like, I'm riding with him so much that I bought the shirt. I'm on the Packers, full narrative street here. Aaron Rodgers is gonna go scorched earth. Like he's mad.
He did it last year. He'll do it again.
I think he'll do it again. Yeah, I mean, he's not gonna be dejected and out of it. He's on a mission. He's mad. I could tell in the press conference the other day, like he's got this, but it's not mad like he's gonna be he's angry outwardly at anybody. It's just like I'm gonna prove all of you wrong. Like it's just.
And if you want entertainment, watch him starting in I think next Tuesday, maybe 2 Tuesdays. He's on every week with Pat McAfee again this year.
That's so awesome.
And it is the most entertaining hour of sports talk. Either watch it on YouTube, listen to it. Like he is so good, but I cannot wait to hear what he's going to say this year because he has no filter on there. It's so good.
He doesn't. A guy last year, who did he like in the preseason? He raved about him in the press conference. I think it was it Jake Kumaro maybe? I think
I forget the wide receiver. They got cut, I think.
Yeah, and he went to Buffalo. And he was decent there, useful anyway. And so a reporter asked him, or beat writer, whatever, asked him about a receiver. He's like, hey, this guy's look good. How do you think he's going to do in Buffalo this year? Like about a guy on their team. And he just looked at him and just laughed. And I feel like old Aaron Rodgers would have just not laughed and kept going and gotten mad at him.
Been the nice guy.
This guy is like, he's got the smart aleck edge. And I don't usually buy into this kind of stuff. I only do with the greats. Like I'm going to buy it too with Mahomes this year because I think he's mad. And I think Mahomes being mad and angry is enough to make him that much better. Like the Jordan type guys, Brady
gives you the edge. That. Make you practice a little.
Rodgers is that good. Like Rodgers, Brady, Mahomes are the guys where, okay, if this dude's got it in his head that something's different, then something's different. He's Aaron freaking Rodgers. I ain't betting
And
against
Devontae Adams has that too. If you listen to his press conference, like he's
Oh,
out
man.
to say, "Hey, screw you," and I'm out after this year too.
Oh, he's out for blood.
There's
what's
this
crazy,
thing.
though? I think they all like LaFleur.
No,
I
I
think
was
he's a
about to
good
say,
coach.
I think the coaches, LaFleur, like I think Aaron Rodgers has been talking with LaFleur all offseason. Like I don't
Yeah.
think this has anything to do with him. It's Gupta Kuntz or whatever his name is, and whoever else is up there. But it feels like this team is like, hey, screw you, front office. We don't give a damn about what you're doing up there. Like, don't care. We are going to win the Super Bowl despite you, like in spite of you. Like, I'm going to hold up this MVP trophy, this Lombardi trophy, and go, you had nothing to do with this. Like, this is us rallying against our own organization. Like, it really feels like that. And I think LaFleur is in the middle of that. I think he's in the locker room going, screw those guys up there. Like, we're going to do this for us. Let's go win. This is the last ride. Like, there's going to be a documentary 15 years from now of this season for the Packers.
I can't wait.
And if they win the Super Bowl, like, it's going to be the most unbelievable ride. Like, I'm all for it. I love drama. I love paying attention to stuff. I want him after every Sunday to come on in on Tuesday with Pat McAfee or whatever, Wednesday for press, and just be like, yeah, I hate the front office, but we're going to win the Super Bowl.
I mean, that's what he feels.
Yeah. So down for it.
I'm all in. I got the Office shirt, and if I'm supporting the Packers, it's not about wearing green and gold. It's about wearing that sweet Office NBA Jam shirt from Homage.
Do you remember in like 2000, probably 10 through 2013, 14, where everybody, even before that, really, like when LeBron was still in Cleveland, like, so maybe even like 07 to 2012, it was like, please just give me Kobe Bryant versus LeBron James in the NBA Finals. Like, I would give anything to see these two transcendent, like, top 5 of all time players play each other in NBA Finals. I want to see Mahomes and Rodgers, because I feel like they're the two most talented, just by arm strength, accuracy, like how they make throws. I feel like they're the two most talented quarterbacks to ever play football. Maybe not the best, like Marino, Peyton, Tom, Brady, like whatever. Yeah. Make your list, but I just want to see those two play each other in the Super Bowl so bad. Like, who wouldn't watch that? Even if you don't care about football, like that, just, God, please give me that. And just for the story, give me Rodgers beating Mahomes. Like, just give me that story where in 15 years when they make that documentary, like, it just seems so perfect this year for that to happen.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know what their odds are for the Super Bowl. I'll look that up while I talk here, but it's hard to bet against them in any fashion. I mean, like I said earlier, I think there's just a point with these special players where being angry does something to him. He's on a mission. It's going to make a difference. Their Super Bowl odds are plus 1,200. So 12-1.
I took that personal. I took that personal. Like,
and I took that personal.
He's going to be on an iPad sitting in a recliner with a mullet or whatever, long hair, like watching Jeopardy, or just got done hosting Jeopardy, and go, yeah, I took that personal. You just see it.
10.5 feels easy for them. Maybe they screw around a little bit and get beat at some point. I just don't see it, man. I'm a believer. I think I believe in this team more than I believe in most. I think the NFC has probably 4 teams at the top who I think are a step above, where in the AFC, I feel like it's Chiefs top tier, step down to the Bills, then a glob.
The AFC has the best 2 teams, but the NFC has the best, like, 10 teams.
3 to 6. Yeah. I mean, because I think you consider Green Bay, Tampa, San Francisco, and the Rams. Like, I think those guys, and then you could it's like make a case for Seattle or even Dallas.
Dallas.
I mean, they're going to be
maybe
the Saints, maybe
there's a lot of up and coming teams, like really good teams that aren't great yet.
The playoffs will be competitive, and it'll be hard to feel good about anybody win in the NFC. I mean, maybe somebody will separate themselves, but it's hard to believe that Aaron Rodgers will not be a part of that conversation. Yeah. Like he is going to have a season for the ages, man. And my worry is he's going to end up in freaking Denver next year. And I'm going to be so excited that I got away from Tom Brady. And then I saw him in the Super Bowl beating the brakes off the Chiefs. And then I feel
like you have like the two teams that he's going to go to, and you're like, it's either going to be the Raiders or the Broncos. Like those are the two teams that they're talking about. Like you're most likely getting him in your division next year. I would bet on that.
That's my thought. I think he's going to be a Bronco next year because they suck. I mean, their quarterbacks suck. So their quarterback play for a good team.
I think that dude is like some of those videos where he's throwing it into a net where the hole is like this big around from 50 plus yards.
He's amazing.
I'm like, nobody else can do that. Like the way he floats the ball into, like, I give you crap about Mahomes, and I'm like, he's like, what's this, his fourth year that he'll be the starter?
Yeah.
So like, I feel like you still have to do it for a very extended period of time, but I'll never question like that dude's talent, how good he is. But I don't think anybody can throw the ball accuracy wise, more like the floating deep pass. Like you see with his Hail Marys and stuff at the end of halves, like he's completed 5 or 6 of them. It's just unbelievable. I just wish I could step back from 50 yards and go and land it in a 18-inch diameter hole. Like it's unbelievable.
I can't do them like football games at the arcades where you're trying to throw like pea-sized footballs into these ocean-sized holes. I'm like, oh man, I hit the wall again. I'm sitting there getting like 3 out of 10. And he's like,
it is the most beautiful throw and the most beautiful play of quarterback I've ever seen. And Mahomes will take it over. Like eventually, like he'll, as long as no injuries occur, like he'll take over that at some point. But for the past 10 years, just to watch that dude throw a football, I could watch it with nobody else on the field, just him by himself, just having fun. Like it's almost like pretty. Steph Curry shooting threes. Yeah. Like it's just, it's a thing of beauty.
Yeah. I said a few weeks into Mahomes' career, and I was like, the only guy I've ever seen play better than like that I feel like is more talented. It was like just like 6 weeks into the season. I mean, he was like that first year when he had like 10 touchdowns in the first 2 games. And I was like, the only guy I've ever seen that can do anything like this is Aaron Rodgers. And I honestly think those are the 2 best quarterbacks in the league right now. And their play styles are different, but in a lot of ways they're similar. It's a Houdini act. They're always looking downfield.
What was cool is getting to watch Romo, and I will always defend Romo, and that is I got to see it a little bit. It wasn't to that level, but it was the same Houdini act all the time. Yep. Just like how did he get out of those 5 guys that just tried to tackle him, roll out, and then drop a 60-yard bomb? Like,
he wasn't athletic either. Like neither is like there were.
Romo looks like me right now.
Yeah, exactly. Like even Mahomes. Like Mahomes is that dude's ripped. Like if you actually see him, he's ripped. But he doesn't on the field. He's not fast. Like he's got a rocket arm, but I mean, he's not like so big or so strong or so fast. And neither is Rodgers or Romo. But somehow they find a way to keep extending plays. And all I know is going back to the bet. I'm in on the Packers over at 10.5. Their division.
Put what you got on it. Put what you got on it.
Their division winning thing is minus 145. I'd probably still the easier bet there is the 10.5 over. You probably still get some decent odds and better odds than minus 145. But if you want to throw a little on the division, that's what it is. And I feel like that's a pretty safe bet they'll win. I think the rest of the division is garbage. Yeah. I mean, the Bears are probably the second best team, but I mean, maybe the Vikings, but even still, like, there's no excitement about
that whole division's waiting until next year to have a chance. Yeah. I know we're about to wrap it up. I don't know if we'll record the other 2 before this weekend. We'll definitely get to them before next Thursday, before the Cowboys Buccaneers kick off the season, September 9th, Dad's birthday. Can't wait. We got college football this weekend, but we're going to do the fantasy or the draft of teams. Yeah, we're going to do that.
Looking forward to that.
But I think not 100% positive, but Sunday is all out, all in, whichever one it is for AEW. I think I'm going to do like a live YouTube Live after that. I'm gonna buy it, watch it, enjoy it. It's Labor Day weekend. So probably gonna do a live reaction to what's going on there. I don't know if you want to hop on. You probably won't watch it, but if you want to hop on and just be a part of it. But college football, watch out for the picks. I'll drop those on Instagram, Facebook. I got a ridiculous graphic that I made.
It looks cool. I like you sent it the other day. I like it. It's pretty cool.
There'll probably be a couple more picks that I had. Those are mostly SEC. I looked at more, but I was like, I know the SEC the most, so let's roll with it. So
yeah, I thought I might do a live later in the week somehow, and talk about picks, or even if I just do like a little Facebook post. I thought I might.
Hey, I think you can hop on Facebook Live where like I can join. So maybe we just pick Thursday night, like, hey, when Tennessee 15 minutes before they kick off against Bowling Green, like hop on and just talk some crap about old Rocky Top. And
I was going to take them at minus 34.5 and it jumped to 35.5, and now I'm out of it. Bowling Green's the worst team in football. So
Tennessee has made me so much money in football in the past 2 years.
But I like Josh Heupel. I think he's good. Everybody's down on him, but I think he's good. I'll probably eat those words.
Hey, real quick, because I don't think we're going to record, and we're not going to do a college football preview or anything like that. Who do you got winning the national championship? What do you think, Memphis? I think their over/unders 8. Do you think they can win 8-9 games again this year? They're not announcing a quarterback.
I think they'll win 8. Like I could see 7 for Memphis, but I'm not super excited about them at all. I think I think it'll be like an ugly 8. I think they don't play Cincinnati, and I believe we don't have UCF on the schedule, right? Is that correct? Like our schedule's we have a weaker schedule than normal for the American.
Yeah, but you do have Mississippi State on the schedule.
No, I mean, who cares? But I mean, I don't know. I'm not. I don't know that I'll go to a game. I mean, honestly, I'm not that interested in Memphis football at this point. And I'll
bring my new camper down. We're gonna tailgate.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool. You know, it's not Memphis's fault. It's just the fact that like I know they're not really competing for anything real. It's like it might as well be Division II at this point. You know, like.
But it also feels like Norvell got stuff. Like you were fired up because Norvell was in your face all the time talking, and you just haven't heard anything. They didn't announce the starting quarterback.
Silverfield, honestly, man, I feel like he's something.
He's
about
recruiting
him
his ass off.
Sure,
and
but, I mean,
maybe they'll be good.
I'm like,
yeah,
I can't.
But national championship, who do you got?
I mean, the safe pick is Bama, but it feels like a cop out to say Bama. And I honestly think one of the bets I did place was on Bama under, like their season total 11.5. I took under. All I have to do is lose one game, and I think with the new quarterback who's not Mac Jones, they're not handed over to an immediate pro.
Or Jalen Hurts or 3 starting quarterbacks there in the NFL right now.
It's been pro recently, and
this dude's supposed to be legit though, like better than all of them.
But one slip up against a dominant conference, it just means more. I took that was one I was confident in. To answer the question of the national champion, homer pick, but I do like Ohio State as kind of an outsider to win. I mean, not an outsider, but not Alabama or Clemson.
So
I don't feel confident about Clemson either. Like I don't know why. I mean, it's a wide open like top 5 or 8 maybe. Texas A&M is an interesting pick.
I think Georgia is the most talented team if they can get their offensive line figured out. But I'm pumped up about this. Finally, college football has done something right, and we get Georgia Clemson first week of the year, Saturday night. Like we get the 2 of the top 3 teams in the country. Like I used to make fun of you because I was like, how do you not love college football? And you're like, I just don't really care college football. Like the NFL is so much better. And I was like, but college football is so much fun. Like I was still in college. I'm like, it's so much fun. The pageantry, like it's just better. Like the fans are better. And now I'm like, I don't really care about college football. And I don't know if it's because I think it was COVID last year without the fans. But like, I'm actually excited. First game of the year, you get Georgia Clemson. Like you get Miami with De'Aaron King against Alabama. Like there are at least a couple really good games the first weekend. And college football has Like, I don't want the 4 huge conferences and them do their own thing and get rid of college football, basically. But then again, it's like, if this is just going to be a semi-pro league for the NFL, let's get the best guys on the best teams and roll with it. Like,
32 teams in the SEC.
Let's have good, fun competition instead of Memphis playing Nicholls State and Texas and A&M playing whoever Kent State and Arkansas playing Rice. Like, last year, I actually enjoyed the COVID thing because the SEC just played the SEC. They had 10 games. We're going to play each other. Like, it was fun. If you would have had crowds for all that, it would have been unbelievable. So part of me wants it to go that way. Part of me graduating from Austin P wants those small teams to get those opportunities. But let's have some fun games.
One of my former players, shout out to one of my former players, Eddie Buxton. He is a defensive back. He's a former basketball player of mine way back in 5th grade. I knew then he was going to do special things. He got a scholarship to play defensive back at Austin P. So I'll be following Austin P closely. And you consider this.
They got a running back of a guy that I coached in middle school.
You can consider this podcast an Eddie Buxton fan show. Love that kid and love all the things he's gonna
go
do
P.
On and off the field. I think he's gonna do big things in the world. Yeah, let's go P. I'm all in on them. If you make me pick a champion, I want to say Georgia.
I wrote that.
But I mean, it feels silly.
It's the same 5 teams.
2-1 odds. It's Bama, Clemson, Georgia, Ohio State, Oklahoma. An outsider.
Same 5 teams every year.
It could be Texas A&M, but I mean, I have no feeling.
I hope Cincinnati runs the table and gets a shot, but they won't.
Yeah, it's not going to change to me until they get 12. Until we go.
And that's probably not going to happen now.
Man, I don't know. And I think if it does, college football's broken if it doesn't. I believe.
Yep.
But
that was just a fun little addition since it starts Thursday night and we're so close to it. God, it feels like this year since COVID, sports just hasn't. We went from no sports and now it just hasn't stopped.
Yeah.
Like, when everything got back rolling with the MLB playoffs and the NBA starting again and the NFL brought fans back, it feels like it just hasn't stopped since November, December of last year. So we're back in it. 2 fantasy football drafts Monday. We're back in it.
That's good stuff. I'm looking forward to it. We start off the college football weekend tomorrow, Wednesday with UAB and whoever they're playing. I don't know. And then it goes through Monday when you wrap up with I believe Ole Miss.
Louisville, Ole Miss.
Monday. Yeah, that'll be
Ole Miss, baby.
I got Ole Miss
Louisville
on the over
stinks
for the season too. Three futures bets in college: Bama under, Boston College over, Ole Miss over. Anything else before we get out of here?
That's all of it.
Man, that was a lot of fun. 2 more season preview episodes. We'll get the AFC West and the NFC West next week. Can't wait to do those. We'll do a team draft episode next week as well. Looking forward to it. Stay tuned.
I say the team draft, we do a YouTube live. Just throwing that out there.
That'll work.
We'll roll with it.
That'll work.
All right.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. We will see you soon.